I just found this beautiful fabric at Mood in New York City. And I have a great idea for a new skirt with interchangeable layers. I'll show you what it is. Coming up. Hey, it's Chanel here bringing you weekly videos to help you get better and better with your fashion sewing. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. Okay, back from New York, went to Mood, ready to work on my skirt that I bought fabric for. And it's black. Black. All those fabrics in Mood and I came back with black. But I couldn't pass on this one. I have a ton of fabric and I was in there really like, okay, I'm only gonna buy stuff I know I'm gonna work on like right away because I'll go back, right? But I have a video out I did a few weeks ago on the tour of Mood in New York City. And I also have one on Los Angeles that was out last year. And I also did a video on the little fabric stores I found along the way in New York, and that was out a couple weeks also. Just look through the playlist on Sew on the Road and you'll find those if you want to see the store. And also when I came across this black, so I found some really beautiful fabrics there, but this one was I should say only $35 a yard, which actually I only needed a yard because I'm going to do the simple Bette skirt. But if I needed a lot, it would really add up. But $35 a yard for this beautiful flocked on silk organza is not a bad price at all. So I have a great idea for this fabric. I thought I'd do the Bette skirt, and the Bette skirt is one of my classics. It's just a yoke, a simple fitted yoke with a really just slightly flared skirt bottom right here. And I love to edge the hems. I did edge this one with a beautiful ribbon that I love ribbon and I never know what to do with them, but now I do. Anyway, and then about 2 years ago I did this skirt. This is how the Bette skirt started, and this one's on my playlist under what to wear on New Year's Eve, because I was like, I wanted something comfortable but New Year's Eve pretty, and I came up with this one. So I did a pleather yoke, did edging, and then I had this little chiffon fabric for years and years in my stash, and then I had this in my stash, and I have a lot of fabric stashes, right? These were left over from my evening gown days, I believe, and yeah. So also I put some little rhinestone accents on it too, and then hemmed it in the bias trim from that. So I thought, what if I do this with the pleather right here on there, and I got to figure out what bias piping to put in here. I always like to do something there. This was really hard to top stitch on it. I won't be doing that again because the foot pedal, even the Teflon one, just stuck to the fabric. So I thought what I could do is make a classic Bette black, real simple with this, and then what lining to do with it. So I could do a blue, like that, or I could do white, classic white, that, or I also have this great, it's a poly metallic-y black, so black on the black with the little sparkles, be real simple and classic. But then I thought, what if I make this lining interchangeable? So what I do is get tricot like this. It's just that lingerie fabric. Make the yoke out of the tricot and then do separate linings. And I can do the lining a little longer, or actually make the yoke a little longer so that the hip line doesn't meet together. One's a little off, so it's a little not as it's not as bumpy, I guess you could say. But I wish I had some more weight to the tricot because I don't want to do double elastic right here. I use the fold over elastic here. So I have to get a real thin elastic or make this just a tad tighter and see if it stays up. So sometimes the friction on the two skirts might rub one down and then I could lose my lining. I'd be walking along and like, oh my God, my lining fell out. But I thought I'd make this like garanimals. So do a separate lining. And then what'd be really fun is Halloween's coming up. So I thought do a Halloween skirt on the orange like that, and then have the orange peek out just a little bit past the black. It'd be so fun. This is fabric I've had in my stash for a while. I did a little line of clothes called Race City Kids Couture because I live in Mooresville, North Carolina, and it's Race City town. And Danica Patrick had, her car color was green and orange. So I found this beautiful orange and I made some skirt designs with it because I'm like, how can green and orange is not the best combo for fashion, but it came out really cute actually. So what I'll do is do a separate lining with the tricot and the orange, and then the Bette skirt just with this, and edge it. I have some beautiful satin ribbon. I don't know where it went. It's around here. So there it is. Beautiful satin ribbon I found in my stash. It's, wow, if you could just feel this. It's satiny on both sides. It's really weighted, beautiful, and it must be a vintage piece. And I could put that around the edge of the hem on the black, and then just do different linings. And I'm traveling to Rome in a few weeks, and there'll be a great skirt for that too. You just do the skirt and have different kind of skirts with changing the linings. It's garanimals for skirts. Anyway, getting to cut this out because I want to wear this on Halloween. Okay, cutting the first layer, cutting the lower skirt. It's such a simple pattern, could just lay it on there, but I really like to make sure that the fabric doesn't slip. So I put pins in it, got some little weights here too. So I've got 2 of these on the fold. You only need a yard of fabric. That's what's so great about this skirt. It makes a great skirt. You don't need much fabric. There's that one. I'm gonna lift that off and just cut another one here. My 2 skirt pieces are done. Now I move on to the orange. I'm gonna add, got that close, an inch to the bottom of this hem because I don't know how I'm gonna hem it. I know the black, I'll probably just roll it up 1/2 inch and put a ribbon on it. I'm not even sure about that yet, but this I'm just gonna, and I'm gonna pink it because this fabric really frays. So I'll just cut 2 of these, 1 inch longer, and then I'm on to the yolks. Okay, now for the yolks, I have an even strip here, cut 2 on the fold. This pattern only takes 2/3 of a yard, so it's really small. I also like to add a little bit more to my waist, so I'm gonna add a little square than the pattern. Like that, I'll just add that. I hope that's enough. Then, I'm not gonna pin this as I usually do. It's sticky. Take long strokes with the shears because this fabric is sticky. I'm gonna cut 2 of these. Okay, onto the lining part. I have my stretch going this way because the length is running that way. The selvage is here, but there's no stretch going that way. It's going across the other way. So I make sure my stretch is going across my body there. Okay, got the 2 linings cut out. All my pieces are cut. That was easy. And now I'm ready to start sewing. I gotta do is sew the 2 side seams on the yokes and the lining and then the skirt. It's a pretty simple skirt. I love this pattern. All you need is a yard for the skirt and 2/3 of a yard for the yoke. So if you find some beautiful fabric out there that's kind of expensive, all you need is a yard and you can get it the whole skirt out of it, and then you just get a beautiful contrast on the yoke, and voila, you have a beautiful skirt out of beautiful fabric, and it didn't take that much yardage. Okay, I gotta get this skirt sewn together. Sewing. I'm just gonna do right sides together. Right here I'm gonna sew 5/8 seam allowances on the side seams. Just get these prepped. I don't need to mark them. I'm just gonna make sure I get an accurate 5/8 so everything fits together well. Looks like this fabric might be hard to sew. I bet it's gonna slip around. I better put a lot of pins in it. All right, and I'll do this side. I always pin in the direction I'm going to sew. I try to always sew from the top down so that everything has, if it stretches the same way. Challenge. I'm going to use a seam guide to get my 5/8 inch seam allowance right there. I'm not going to mark it. I'm just going to be sewing this right sides, all of these right sides together. And this fabric, I'm going to guess is the top is the right side. This one's really hard to tell, although the weave here is a little bit, yeah, you can kind of tell sometimes just by the weave. If one is the one you can see the most, and that usually is the back. Probably makes no sense. All right, so these side seams together. This one's gonna snag a lot. Oh boy. To make sure I have a size 11 in my machine and a fresh needle, because even no matter what, metallics really tend to snag, because if you hit one of the threads just right, the needles, it just snags it. All right, I'll pin that one. Then we're on to the yoke, and the yoke, this is hard to sew too. Oh my gosh, got nothing but hard to sew fabrics. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna put the leather side as the right side, even though this suede I just love. Oh my gosh. And this probably sticks a lot too. I'll have to get my Teflon foot out. And it pins really well. I should be using silk pins too. That probably would help. They're going through there really well. I'll do both sides here like that. And I got my lining. And this I should use a stretch stitch with, but it doesn't have a lot of stretch on the length. It's hard to tell what is the waist and what's the, it's interesting. I think I'll put a W up here for waist, because when I added to the side, now it's really square. And it does matter because it has a little bit of a scoop to it. So if I put this as the waist, it would kind of fit funny. So I gotta make sure I get the right side here. How I can tell is, yes, see that right there? I can just go that way and that way, but I put a W on it here anyway, because when I get it sewn, it may not be so evident. All right, got all my side seams sewn together and pressed. They all sewed together much easier than I was anticipating, so it was good. I even got my leather yoke piece. It was actually pretty simple because I was sewing it on the suede side, and I had my little slippery foot on, so it probably helped a lot. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and hem the skirt before I put all the yoke on it, because it'll be easier to handle. So what I've done is I just, while I pressed the seams open, I pressed the hem up to the right side, just a 1/2 inch right there, because what I'm going to do is take the ribbon, this glossy ribbon. I don't know how this is going to sew together. I should probably test it first, but it'll be easy to take out if it doesn't work together. So just roll this up here, and then I'm going to sew. I'll probably start sort of at a side seam right here, and I angled the edge here, and I'm just going to sew it straight down the center and then cover that fold over here. Then I might have to, if it slips a little bit, go in and trim it, but that'll be a nice finish to this hem. And then you won't even see a hem on the other side because it's pressed up. I love hemming this skirt that way with ribbons and all. So it'll be a pretty edging on there. So I'm gonna go and try that, see how it turns out. Okay, let's see how this goes on. It's gonna, little chunks at a time. I still have my slippery foot on here, I forgot. I guess it's helping. A couple inches at a time, take my time, try to get it right in the center. Well, that turned out nice. Wow, I love the satin edging right there. That looks really good. Got to do some trimming in there. There's a lot of little parts where it's poking out. It's strange, there's kind of a white in there. I don't know where that comes from the flocking, but I see no white in here. But just gotta get it trimmed out, and then I gotta attach the leather yoke to there. But I've Don't know what binding to put in between the layers. I'm gonna have to look through my stash and either do a ribbon. It doesn't have to be on the bias because it's pretty, it's kind of square. It doesn't really. Then I gotta attach this to here and get it all. I'll worry about the hem and all that stuff later. This one's real simple. And then, yeah, so my most important thing now is to find what binding to put in here because I can't move on with this until I find a binding. I'm gonna go take a look in my stash, see what I got. Okay, back another day to finish my skirt. And I found the perfect binding or piping or something that goes between the pleather and the black flocked. And then I also already pinned it on. So I pinned it, well, actually stitched it on. And I went 1/2 inch down, and I very carefully got it exactly 1/2 inch down from the raw edge because I'm going to put the pleather yoke on it and sew it in a 5/8 inch seam allowance. So it means I have 1/8 of an inch to get it enclosed into that seam allowance so that the ribbon pokes out 1/2 inch because I don't want it to, 1/2 inch is about the minimum I like. So that's going to be a tricky sew. I'm going to be very careful, put lots of pins in it. So I'm going to pin. All right, have the yoke pinned on to the skirt, right sides together, and then I had it pre-marked, the 5/8, so that I get a nice smooth line there. Then I had to clip some of this seam right here because that ribbon is making it not move at all, and that's making my yoke here not exactly fit. So it's a little bit of an ease, and once I sew this to the yoke, the foot pedal doesn't slide really well on it, and I could have a mess here, but I'm gonna try it. Hopefully. I might want to go and sew it from the other side, where this is actually slicker, and sometimes it really matters which way you sew, this part on the feed dogs or on the other side. So if it's kind of pulling and stuff, try it the other way. That'll help sometimes. All right, got lots of pins in here. I got use the silk pins because it goes through that pleather a lot easier. And now I'm going to go give this a try at the sewing machine and see how it lines up. Well, this turned out great. I actually really love the ribbon here. It blends it really well. It came out really good. I had a couple little high-low spots. It was really easy to fix because I just went in and went from the back side and found the stitch and just restitched it. Chopped it off in a few spots and restitched it. But I think I got it pretty accurate. It turned out really nice. Now I have to add so basically the skirt is almost done, as the hem's done and everything. Just got to add the lining in here. And I can't, I'm not going to press this right here, which I usually like to do, but this fabric, the pleather, some of the pleather comes off with the iron. I was using a press cloth on this seam right here, and the leather, the fake part just lifted off, so I don't think I can iron this fabric, even with a press cloth. I don't know if it's because of the age or what, but dry cleaning too is probably out of the question because dry cleaning uses heat, and most people won't know it. They'll iron it and go, oh my God. So next I have to put the lining in the yoke. I was going to use the tricot fabric, but then I thought maybe I need to get this so I don't stretch this so that it doesn't deteriorate faster because I might wear it for a while and have to redo the yoke one day. So I'm going to just put these right sides together, or wrong sides together, the seams right here, so that there's no seam allowance on the inside of this, and pin it right here, and then add the elastic to that. And I just use that rollover elastic, which is this stuff right here, and just sandwich this in right here after I stitch that, and then I kind of stretch a little bit here. If you ever use this elastic, I have a great video out on this. It's called How to Use the Rollover Elastic, and I also have a link for this elastic. Sometimes it's hard to find, but I have it I'll put it in the link below so you can find it easily on Amazon. So I'm going to go ahead and put that elastic in there, and I'm almost finished. Okay, got the elastic in right there. It was hard to get started, but it got in there. I usually don't have it this elasticy. I don't know. Now I have to pin this yoke down and get it exactly like right here. I'm a little off here. You can see, kind of have to get it right there so it doesn't pull up. Wow. Get it right on that seam, and I'm gonna have to hand stitch this whole thing here. Just go around it and get this all hand stitched so that that seam stays up. And then that, when the seam stays up, then the ribbon will stay down. Well, here is the skirt. It's not exactly done because I still have all the pins in here. I have to hand stitch all this tonight at home because I have a class coming up. So I'm just gonna take my time and hand stitch that, get that seam to stand up. And that's the skirt. Looks great. Now onto the interchangeable linings. So I have my orange one with the black already done. That's the lingerie fabric with the orange lining right there. And then I have to put I was thinking I could get away without elastic, but yeah, that's not gonna work. So, and I was looking in my elastic stash for the real soft lingerie elastic, which would be great. And I could just zigzag it on, but I have this, it's soft, and it's white. I do have this other one here, it's black, but and I don't want like 2 layers of elastic there, so I just want it to, it has to grip on, but be really comfortable. So, because I'm gonna have the other elastic over it, although pretty simple, easy stuff too. But I'm gonna put like a little casing in here. I'm just gonna do a little zigzag casing because trying to zigzag this stuff curls and it's kind of nuts. So I'm just gonna put a little casing, put that elastic through it, and then I have to try it on and see how this looks underneath there. It's gonna be a great Halloween skirt. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gonna make sure I find somewhere to go on Halloween. So that's gonna be cool. And then got the elastic done in the lining, and then I pinned it into the skirt. And how does it look? It looks very Halloweenish. I love it. I also decided to just let it poke out a little bit, maybe an inch past the hem, because I can always lift the lining up a little bit. Just like lift it up if I want it to go right at the hem. And honestly, I'll probably only be wearing this like on Halloween because it looks very Halloweenish. So it's weird when you wear black and orange together. It doesn't feel good anywhere unless you wear, I don't know, unless you wear it on Halloween. So I'm just going to do it on an inch hem. And what I found too, I was looking for, because I also don't want to do a machine stitch hem because I don't want the stitch to show. So if it's just like right at the edge. So I found this in my stash, seam binding, 39 cents. So I think I got, this was donated, so it's like a vintage one. So I'm gonna guess from the 50s, maybe? Maybe the 70s? I don't know. I know the 20s was like 15 cents. So let's kind of go by the price. Anyway, inflation. They're now at $3.90. Oh my gosh. So, but I'm gonna open up this hem tape and use it. Hopefully it doesn't deteriorate. I wonder if it's made out of, because polyester didn't come around until the 60s, right? Let me see, so maybe it's the 70s. It doesn't say what it's made out of. And it says it's stretchable too, which is interesting. Let's see. So it's like, it says it's stretchable. I wonder if the ones that we have now are stretchable. Definitely feels like polyester. So maybe it's the 70s. Yeah. Because I don't think, Oh, has a date on there. 1969. That's when polyester was came out in the late 60s, right? So wow. 1969, it's finally getting used. What year are we in? 2022. Wow. No, that's like 50 some years old. That's crazy. Wow. So I'm gonna put it on the edge of this, and maybe, should I hand stitch it? Yeah, just because I don't want any of the stitch to show. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also thinking about putting Velcro little dots on these edges to kind of hold it in place, like that. So in case I'm walking around and it's moving around, it could shift or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you how it looks on the dress form. Voila! Halloween skirt is done. Looks so pretty. Although it's not exactly done, I have to hand stitch it. I got the lace on the end, and then I'm just gonna hand stitch that tonight, and it will be ready for Halloween. So we got the pleather, the ribbon, the sheer underneath, and then the orange popping through. It's really pretty here. When the light hits it, the glitter shows up really good. So I'm excited. That's gonna be fun to wear on Halloween. Still gotta find somewhere to go. So while I was working on that, I also made linings with the other fabrics. I did a blue and a black. I haven't hemmed them yet, but I got the elastic. They're all ready to go. And I think this lining I'm gonna put, I'm not gonna have it peek out because it's just a lining, and I'll have it just like barely in there. So it'll look like that under there. Really pretty. And then this black glitter one here, like that. I think I'll have that one peek out a little bit here, and I could even put like a ribbon around that layer too. I have to put them on there and see what I want to do. But yeah, interchangeable linings. Who would have thought? But I got 3 skirts, and you can't wear that one sheer. I did notice that it's a little sheer. So I only have 3 skirts. Could have 4 if it weren't so sheer. But if it weren't so sheer, these wouldn't look so pretty underneath them. So, but yeah, 3 skirts. And then I would love to do a yellow also. That would be really fun too. So yellow fabric is actually kind of hard to find. So I know when I made my Susanna skirt here, I put a yellow lining under it, and it was kind of hard to find. So yeah, skirt. Got skirts, new skirts. Wow, I have so many skirts. Anyway, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you need the Bette pattern, it's in the link below. And let me know if you make any of these skirts. So I'd love to hear. See you in the next video.